Hi, this is Randy Randall of No Age and host of the podcast Hyphenate with Randy Randall. I want to welcome our newest sponsor of the show, DistroKid. DistroKid helps musicians get their music on all the major streaming platforms, and artists keep 100% of their royalties. Hyphenate listeners get 30% off at distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate. Again, that's distrokid.com/VIP/HYPHENATE. Go get your music streaming everywhere now. Dogs barking. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Dogs barking. Do I need glasses? Maybe I don't need glasses.
Okay.
I'm going to take my glasses off. I probably don't need them here.
All right.
Not that anybody will ever see this footage.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Okay, we are recording.
Hello.
Okay. Hey. hey, everybody.
Hey.
All right. Thank you for tuning in.
People?
Thank you for tuning in to Hyphenate Halftime with me, Randy Randall, and my super always amazing co-host, Mr. Aaron Farley. How you doing, Mr. Aaron Farley?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm confused and turned around. We had a long conversation about many of these things. Or I don't know what number podcast we are in, but it's been going for a few months now. And
I think I'm going to guess that this is the 5th halftime, maybe.
Okay. So maybe 10th thing. Yeah. So we had 5 interviews, five halftimes. That sounds right.
Yeah.
That's about what? That's about
That's
2 months. Be my
guess.
2.5 months. That feels about right. Yeah. This is, and this episode is coming out on John Herndon. And it is coming out on October 26th. If you're listening to this is the week of October 26th.
Awesome.
Almost Halloween. Anything spooky you got up your sleeve for Halloween?
The spookiest thing is how fast Halloween is coming up.
Yeah.
I was like a couple of weeks ago, people were putting their Halloween stuff up. Like we got, our neighbor across the street got one of those huge, the 12-foot skeletons or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it went up, and I'm like, isn't it a little early for that? Especially in California, it's still like
it's 100 degrees.
80. Yeah. I mean, I guess we're up in the mountains. It's 80.
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden I looked and I'm like, wait, Halloween is almost like next. I mean, by the time this comes out, Halloween will be like 5 days away.
Yeah.
No,
I know.
This will be after Halloween, actually. This one.
I think, because
2 weeks from now, right? Or are we supposed to be giving up the days of how?
I don't even know. I don't even know how this works. We'll keep it vague. I was trying my best to dial it into a time. Yeah. Maybe we'll go back to keeping it vague. Yeah. Well, it's fall. 2023. I could say that with confidence.
Yes, this is October, but it could be any year.
Or it could even be November.
Yeah,
could be November. I don't know. You have to write us at hyphenate halftime at gmail.com and tell us what day it is when you're hearing this, because we will be confused.
Yeah, just tell us what day it is. That's all we need to know. That's the only information we need.
If anybody could just write in just daily, let me know what day it is. That would be so much more helpful for me. If I had a daily email telling me this is the date today, like, oh, cool.
Right.
Thanks.
Yeah, I've never been super into Halloween, but I've always participated. But I don't know. It's not one of my.
Where does that come from, you think?
I don't know. Well, as a kid, I did not like people dressed in masks. So, but I don't know even where that came from. But it became a thing for a while. I didn't really like scary movies. I like people dressed in masks. So I guess that's probably where it came from. Whatever that is.
That'd be a big part of not liking Halloween. I mean, inherently masks are scary, but I think there's the child kind of thing where you jump in like, ooh, I have a mask on. I can go scare my parents.
Right. I don't like the color orange. No, just kidding.
Pumpkins.
Pumpkins aren't really my thing. I don't like falling leaves. Yeah, I don't know where it comes from.
It's not a big candy person. I don't know.
The candy thing.
Halloween might not be my thing. Yeah.
Right.
They like the candy. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, Shan said she doesn't like pumpkin spice things. I'm a big flavor person.
Ooh,
I like all kinds of flavor things. I'm excited when all the pumpkin spiced flavor things. I go crazy for it. And I'll just buy all of them.
It does start. It really is. It's like the first time in a while. It's like the first time of the year that things really change. Like all the flavors of everything changes, the smells of everything, like the food, the type of food that people eat.
Yep.
All of a sudden you're like eating more hearty things, getting ready, putting on those pounds for the winter, just in case.
Yeah, I think I remember talking to somebody, I don't know, I was probably shopping at some department store, and it was like, oh yeah, well, the decorations go up for Halloween, and they're like, it's just a race. So as soon as you start seeing pumpkins, it's New Year's. It just goes, it's like from Halloween, but once the Halloween stuff goes up, then it's Thanksgiving for a blink, then Christmas goes pretty hard, and then it's New Year's. So it's just sort of that run of like themed events and stuff, especially when you have kids. There's just all the different activities and things. It just from now, once you see the pumpkin, just go ahead and start getting used to writing the next year on your whatever you write, 2024. It's like
right. And this is
the year's over.
And this is the moment when kids are like, you know what I want for Christmas? Like, this is when they start thinking about it. See? And every single day you're like getting the Christmas, the potential Christmas list.
Oh yeah.
It
starts.
Yeah. It has whatever, like stuff. Whatever crazy things of like, especially when they get older, it starts to get to like, this is Towns the other day. He's like, Dad, so he's 12. Dad, so when I get my license, and you guys get me a car, can you please not surprise me with the color of car? So like I get to choose. And I was like,
I'll do you one better. There's no surprise. It's this car I'm driving right now.
Yeah,
this is going to be the car you get.
Yeah. You think you're getting a car?
Yeah.
Who told you you're getting a car?
Yeah.
You're not getting a car.
I will help you
borrow our car if everything's going well.
I will help you out. There will be no surprise to this. I will tell you right now. You have 4 years warning. You will not be getting a car. Yeah. If you drive any car, it will be the one that you are driving in currently right now.
Yeah. I'm way ahead of you. It will be this car with 50,000 more miles on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
At the least.
I hope you like this one. It's going to be a lot shittier with some more dents on it and won't run as good. Yeah. And guess who gets a new car?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. It's the exact
get a new car.
Yeah, it's the exact worst version of this car you're in right now.
Yep. No surprises. There you go. You have plenty of time. You've been warned. Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, no, I got a request for a 3D printer. And I'm like,
for Ryder?
For Ryder. Yeah, he's 9. He'll be 10. But I just have to imagine the disappointment level on a gift like that is so steep from the excitement from when you open it up, like, wow. And then how does this work? Like, I don't know. What am I going to print? Like, I don't know. You can make a box. You can make
I made a plastic cube
from buying it for about 6 hours. Maybe you have some excitement, and then it just goes like on the top shelf of the closet and never gets looked at ever again.
Yeah. How long does this take?
Oh my God. We did the Oculus, the glasses to play video games with, the virtual reality glasses last year, and he was excited and he was pissed because it was expensive. We kind of just went in on the one gift sort of thing, where the younger brother with Wilson's, still just 4, he gets lots of little things, a $20 thing, a $30 thing, a $40 thing, a big video game, it's $400. You get the one thing. That's it.
That's a console.
There's no one else. I think there's a charger that came with it. That's it. Those are your 2 boxes you get. But yeah, so he was happy, but also there was that moment. I think that's just part of growing up, right? And then you realize like, oh, I'm not getting tons of little toys. Like we didn't buy you any toy cars, anything. You got the one big thing. We were happy to help you out with that. But
we could have taken it apart and we could have wrapped all the different pieces up.
Yes. Yeah.
Like
maybe that's better. Yeah. Next time, if we get him the 3D printer, we'll 3D print a bunch of small little dumb things ahead of time the night before, and we'll wrap all those up.
And here is the instructions.
Yeah. Whoa,
cool. This is a cool book.
Oh man. Okay, so John Herndon last week.
Yeah.
How awesome is he? He's great, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. So I've met John once when you played with him.
Oh yeah, in Long Beach.
No, at Zebulon.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, super fun. But I had never met him before. I obviously know Tortoise and know the music, and maybe I had listened to his solo. I think I'd listened to his solo. Like a
great
song.
album on Arthur King. He had an awesome.
Yes, that one.
Grape Dope record.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I think he did something with Travis. Oh my God, what am I?
Millard.
Yeah, Travis Millard.
Yep.
And so I'm, very familiar. But then when I met him, he's like totally a different guy than I thought he was going to be. And he was kind of quiet. And we were meeting under circumstances of him like setting up. And he was also setting up all that electronic stuff. So there's like 1,000 chords, this like huge pile of chords everywhere. And then he's just kind of a little quiet. I don't know. And I just remember asking him some question. It was a very short answer. And I was like, oh, wait, does he hate me? Does he? Maybe I'll just let him be on his way and get it. And just not really knowing. And so then cut to listening to the interview. I'm like, oh, he's like a super talkative, crazy, like he has so many crazy stories and he's just a little bit like kind of quiet and funny. And I was like, then I went back to my previous thing. I was like, oh, he was just being kind of quiet, made a little joke, and then was like, okay, I got to set up. We're good. Yeah. So it's awesome to hear him, like his laugh is so funny when you're talking to him, and he has like super high pitched laugh and it just keeps laughing. It's so good.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's been fun over the years getting to know him because he's definitely a big nerd and he does not take himself too seriously. But I feel like, he's often probably approached with great reserve or with reverence from other music nerds. I think they're just his musical output, I think, is held in such high regard as it should be. And so I'm sure he's probably tripped out by that too in some ways of, being kind of a goofball and everybody coming up and like, oh, like, kind of bowing down before him or being very, very, respectful. I'm sure it probably fries his brain a little bit of not sure what to do.
I'm sure. Because it seems like he is, I guess that was what was cool about the interview was hearing his kind of funny, goofy, weird side, and then realizing that like, oh, that's him. But then the artwork and the music is taken very seriously, but in a loose, fun way. But everything was very like talking about the instruments and talking about the different, the ways he makes music or thinks about art and all of that seemed very loose, but also very pointed. Like when he said that he was going to, that he just told everybody he was a drummer before he had ever played drums or anything. Yeah. And he was like, no, I'm a drummer. I was like, when he was a little kid, when he was 10 or something. I was like, oh, what do you do? I'm a drummer. But he'd never played drums. He'd never touched drums. He'd never even tried or anything, but he just knew he was going to be a drummer. I thought that was really, seemed very telling. I mean, he said he was just like, yeah, I knew it was going to happen. But
it's amazing.
But no, like he had gone to like the Rolling Stones, seen the Rolling Stones as a kid, or he was a big fan of the Who, but just was like, yeah, I'm going to be a drummer. Yeah. I think that's amazing.
He called a shot. He's like, yep, that's me. That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's a funny thing. I mean, I don't know where you stand with this or how this fits in with your life story, but I've felt very privileged for many reasons over the course of my life. But one of the things I've felt very privileged about is knowing what I love to do. Like knowing I love to play music, specifically playing guitar, like and being very confident about that and understanding like, oh, this brings me so much joy and so much happiness. If I could just do this, I will be very happy for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like there was it was clear. It was no questions about it. Like, you know, I love other things too, you know, but that was the thing. I was like, oh, this is my path. Like, and it was just having a clear idea of like what my passion is and where my heart lays with that, and just something this makes me so happy to do a thing. And I've talked to other people, and I was like, I don't really know what I want to do. And over the years, I've kind of understood like that would really fuck my head up.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's one thing to be, I like being eclectic. I'm enjoying, you know, the podcast. I'm enjoying, you know, I like film and art and movies and lots of other things as well. But in terms of one thing, like, oh yeah, no, I want to just do this. Like, but it has to be really tough to wonder, like, to get to a point in your life and like, maybe I'm into ski-doos or jet skiing,
right.
You know, and to be searching, I think always would seem, I don't know.
Or just to
confusing.
not even to have a thing, I think is tough too.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree too, because there's, I mean, I guess I have had like a little bit more of an eclectic run of it, but it was always, that it was something creative. Like I just always knew, like the second that I got into a job or an area that wasn't creative, I was like, okay, yeah, get me out of here. I can't. Well, I'm just like,
it. Yeah,
same. I'm just of no use here. You know, like you guys are like, this is like, it's like having someone on your soccer team who's like, yeah, I hate soccer. But they made me be on your team. You know,
I'm only going to drag you down.
Yeah. They're like, you don't want me in this accounting office right now. There's only so many ways this is going to go. They're all down. They're all downhill.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, and I feel like, you know, I always did other stuff for money and, you know, hustle for other things, but definitely the feeling of like, you know, I think this is a good question. I'll ask you, what was one of your worst jobs that you knew this? Was there a specific job you remember like, oh yeah, this is not me?
I mean, I guess most of my worst jobs were like in college and not doing like career. I've never had like a bad career job. I've been in situations where I've gone into interviews of like, you know what, maybe I should get a job because this freelance thing is rough. I'm going to go on some interviews and then go and interview in like a department, like a music video department where it's like a production company, but you would be on the production side of things, like kind of paper pushing, kind of finding people permits, and hiring people and stuff. And I'm like, oh, wait, this is what a job is like? Wait, what did you ask me if I wanted to do? What did you ask me if I've done before? No, I've never. Why would? Oh, okay, no. No, this is not for me. I'm sorry. Yeah, one interview I sat in, and again, I've been pretty lucky because even those times where I'm like, I'm going to go get a job, and I put together a resume, go out on a couple job interviews, and I'm like, and still shooting photos on, you know, I'm still like shooting, and then some job would come up, or 2 or 3 jobs would come up, and I'd be good for like 5 months. I'd be like, okay, I'll start this up in a couple months, and then had a good run of work for a while where I didn't have to go back in and do interviews. But the one interview that I did have that I remember that was like horrible, sat in, the guy came in, he had been like up all night maybe, and then they were producing a music video. He came in, sat down, and was like, all right. He's like sweating. He's okay. Who are you? And I gave him my thing. Oh, you're friends with so. Okay, cool. So why do you want to do this job? And I'm like, well, you know, okay, yeah. Who are your favorite? Blah blah blah. Give me your favorite list. And I had some people, and then just instantly went, oh, I'm not ready for this interview, am I? I thought we were gonna have a conversation about some stuff and some creativity. And he's like, who's your favorite? Give me your top 10 video directors. And I'm like, I could name at that point off the cuff could name like 6. I don't know.
And not even your favorite, just anybody that could come to mind.
I was just like,
who's gonna get a name?
Like, okay, well, what kind of work are you thinking? And just halfway through, I just went, can I just stop talking? What if I just stop talking? I'm just gonna go. And then at the end, I'm like, honestly, I don't think this is for me. I'm wasting your time right now. This is not, I gotta go. And he just looked at me and he's like, all right, cool. That's cool.
Better to know. Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
And I just left just going, whew, I better get my portfolio together. It's going to be rough. And then I was okay for a while. I got some work and yeah,
it's amazing.
But I think I knew pretty quick, even in those situations, I'm like, I'm not a good bullshitter. Like I can't just sit down like, you know what? I'm going to be a different person today and I'm going to be fine in this office. And I just like, I could never really do it. But so finding some kind of creative, some part where I had at least a little bit of a say in whatever the creative thing was that was happening, and I didn't have to organize too much paper and signatures and those types of things, because I think those jobs might fall apart.
Yeah.
How about you?
The one I was thinking of was when I was in high school and I got a job spraying perfume on cards and like handing them out to people at the mall.
Oh, that's amazing.
And it was like the act itself of spraying stuff on a thing and handing it out, not a big, that's not a big lift. There's nothing too terrible about that. But when I showed up, I was kind of, this disheveled sort of skate punk sort of kid, and I put on a button-up shirt, but I don't think I owned a comb, or I didn't really comb my hair, and I didn't really shave, or I had whatever scruff there was I could grow at 17, and had some baggy Dickies on, or with probably some holes in it and some skate shoes. That was just whatever, just dressed like that. I thought I was dressing up. I buttoned the thrift store weird grandpa shirt I had.
Yeah.
And the guy just made me feel so terrible about how I looked. And it was just like, it's my first day. Like, I don't know. And but there was so much of just like, okay, well, you got to comb your hair. You got to like change your clothes. Okay. When you come tomorrow, you're gonna have a whole different wardrobe thing. I just remember, and again, looking back, like, that's not an outrageous thing to ask.
Yeah.
But for a 17-year-old kid in the suburbs, at a mall, like, I don't know, give me the uniform. I don't think I'd ever had a job where I didn't have a uniform before that, and so this was about like, representing the Givenchy, perfume corporation or something. Yeah. I'm like,
you're like, are you paying me enough to represent the Givenchy? This is actually on you. You're the one that hired me to do this.
Yeah. You need to style me or something. But I just remember just being made to feel so poor about myself. Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, whatever. It's a job. I've only been here for like 3 minutes and I already feel like dog shit. And like, he gives me the cards and the perfume and tells me to stand over there. And then I start trying to spray and hand it to people. And then just the stiff arm of people, like of old ladies, is like, no, God, get away from me. Like, I just felt like, oh, I am such a pariah I'm just like being treated like worse than dog shit, as you try to hand stuff out. People's like, God, no, please, geez, no. I was just not even pleased, just being, every face I saw was just disgust that I was existing, trying to hand them something. And so I was funny. Like, I was already self-conscious because the guy said I looked like shit. And then every woman or person I tried to hand the card to just was like recoiled in horror. And I was just like, oh, I can't. I just think my poor teenage ego just couldn't quite like separate itself from this. Like, oh, I am not right for this at all. Like, I'm not the person. I don't look like the person he wants me to be. The people don't want to take the things from the guy that looks like me. I just felt constitutionally like the wrong person at the wrong place at the wrong time, everything. So I lasted about 10 minutes, and then I told the guy, like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. And like, I walked through the mall to find the bathroom, and then I saw, as I was getting out of the bathroom, I was kind of just trying to calm myself down. I was almost wanting to cry. And then I saw the exit. I just saw the door. So then I like just threw all the perfume things in the trash. And I walked right out to my little like beat up car in the driveway or in the parking lot. And I just drove home.
I love that.
And my mom had gotten me the job through some friend of a family person or friend of a friend. And I just was home within like a half hour. And she's like, what are you doing back home? I was like, yeah, I can't do this. She's like, are you insane? Like, what are you doing? Like, you just left? I was like, yeah, I don't know. She's like, you have to tell people. I'm like, I can't.
They're like, do I? That exit was actually just right there. And I just did the math in my head and went, much easier.
I really just felt like lower than low. Like I was going to, you know what I mean? I didn't understand how I could survive doing that any further just because it didn't. And plus I was in school and, I lived at home with my parents. This was for like spending money. I think if I had to, support myself or a family or children or something, I could figure out how. It wasn't the worst job in the world, but for a kid at that age, I just remember it just was so clearly that feeling of like, oh yeah, I can't do this. There's just nothing in me that I have no further time here.
It's funny when you're telling that story because all of a sudden I'm going through all of these jobs in my head and going, oh wow, wait, I forgot I did that. But one thing that I never worked retail. I never had any retail. Like I never had jobs that I had to deal with like customers or anything. But I had, I worked construction when I was a kid, when I was like 17, 18 during the summers as just like sweeping up and stuff, which actually is fine because it's like, it's this weird world into semi-adulthood because there's a ton of responsibility, but most of the guys act like children. So you're like in the middle of this, you're in this hierarchy where these guys are like super, super smart construction. Like they know how to build anything. They know they know they know how to read plans. They know how to read engineering plans. They know how to build a whole house by themselves, all these things. And then all you hear is dick jokes all day. And they like acting like, wow, they act like 12-year-olds. So it's this weird, like you can actually fit in as a 17-year-old and just like, I don't know what to do, but I can interact with you guys because you sound like my high school friends. It's like, it's fine. And so I did that. And then, but then when I was in college, like during some college jobs, I worked at like in the washing dishes or whatever, but I also worked cleaning up, sweeping the stadium after basketball games. Whoa. So like you'd go at like 11 o'clock at night and sweep in these teams till like 2 a.m. But which also not a great job. It's sweeping up a lot of puke and like there's a lot of it's a college, it's Washington State, so it's like back then huge party school, just no rules. But what I remember the coolest thing, and at this point, I don't know, I was 19, I guess, was that the guy who was the head of it would hook in a radio to the speakers in the Coliseum, and he'd just play whatever was playing. And all I remember was Smashing Pumpkins blaring, because it would have been like Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. I don't know, whenever that was, 1996 or something. And just blaring and being like, that guy is so cool. He gets to play his music through the stadium. Like I still remember that feeling of like, man, I would love to hook a stereo and just sit there and listen to music in the stadium. This is just blaring. Cool. Yeah, it was pretty funny. And then I don't know. Amazing. I did so many other. I folded underwear at Victoria's Secrets for like 2 months when I was in Portland to get some extra. But then again, I knew 2 people that were there that were my friends, and so it was kind of fun. And then and when I first moved to LA, I folded jewelry boxes for like super cheap jewelry but at this like weird back room in Beverly Hills. And I used to have to take the bus from Hollywood or Echo Park, maybe even, to Beverly Hills, and then we'd work for like 5 hours and then take the bus all the way back. And we get paid per box. You got paid $1 a box, I think. So you'd fold all these little boxes. But we'd sit in this big round table and there were like 10 people. The main guy that was running it was also a music manager, and he managed a bunch of rappers from like Inglewood and that whole area. And so he would get all of his rappers 2 full jewelry boxes too. And they had this whole side hustle. So that's what they would all do, that on the side to make a little bit of extra money. And then they'd all like talk business and talk shit and talk like, and two of the guys were like on a song on like the Death Row compilation. And like, so then I was just sitting there going, wow, how did I get, and at that point I'd been in LA for a year. So I'm like, LA is maybe the greatest place that ever existed. I'm like working in this jewelry box place, and this guy's like trying to get on a song with Snoop. And this guy's like, yeah, I'm trying to, I got my cousin knows Daz, and it's just like these conversations. I'm like, this is insane. I love this. I'm gonna pay. I would walk out of there with like, I think they paid us in cash too. You'd walk out of there with like $38 because you did. No, it wasn't even $1 a box. It was like 10 cents a box or something, because we do hundreds and hundreds of boxes.
Dollar sounded high. I wasn't going to say anything, but I didn't know how complicated these boxes were.
No, this would probably be like, it was closer to like a nickel a box, because we do right. Like in a couple of hours we do like 600 boxes. We do these little. We had this whole thing. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
That's amazing.
But I definitely knew I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life. But having I just remember having the conversation, because I was like, me and the woman who originally got me the job was we were like the only 2 white people, and so they'd be like, what do you think of Eminem? That was like the question. What do you think of Eminem? And I'm like, I don't know. We'd have these conversations. So that was the time. That showed you the time frame of like, people were still wondering like if Eminem was going to be like a big rapper or not, or if people were going to care. Oh my God. Funny.
That's amazing. Eminem reminds me of one of my other favorite bad jobs. Is I was the mini bartender at the Standard Hotel in downtown LA. And the mini bartender is what it sounds like. I would stock the mini bar in the fridges of all the rooms, and then I'd have to charge the people if they took stuff out of there.
Oh, so you'd have to go and like, okay, that's funny.
I do inventory every day. I think there was like 400. No, how many rooms? I mean, 300 rooms. I would say, at least as an easy estimate. So I'd get a cart with all the stuff on it, and I'd get a floor, and I'd just start at the bottom floor and work my way all the way up to the top and go into every single room and just see if everything make sure it's all stocked, and if anything was gone, restock it and write down, what they had. And then at the end of the day, I'd go down to like a kiosk in the restaurant and charge them like on the bar staff, like charge the room, whatever, was there. But it was really solitary. I just was by myself for like 8 hours a day, just pushing this weird little cart around. And, so it was really, I think I would, lose my mind. I didn't have headphones or listen to music or anything. I think I was just knocking on doors. And I just got out of college, and also had just recently broken my neck. So I was kind of just contemplating life. I didn't have a car. I would ride my bike to the metro station to Hollywood and Highland, and take it in downtown to like Fig and 7th. And then, work with all these people, and just scratching my head, wondering what life was all about for 8 hours a day by myself pushing a cart. But every once in a while there would be celebrities on the top floor, in the suites. And one time Eminem rented out the whole top floor for his crew, because he was shooting a D12. I think that was the name. It was a music video of his like music group.
Yeah.
And they had a special request that he wanted everything out of the fridge. He didn't want any of our stuff, but he wanted like orange soda, like Fanta or Sunkist, whatever, and then that like Lipton iced tea. That's it. So then I had to go to like Rite Aid across the street and just buy like 2 24-packs of that. And I think they charged them like, $10 a can. And I think, each 12 pack was, $5. So the whole thing, for the whole inventory I had was, cost $10. But then for every can he drank, they would charge him, whatever, and absorb the same price over and over again. But he had like tinfoil on all the windows. And it was like super dark in there. Like I didn't go in when he was there. You'd have to wait, for no one to be there. But I remember going into his room, and it was like, had a bulletproof vest over the back of a chair. He had this wardrobe, like all these red jumpsuits, and hung up on like hang like his own fashion hanger thing. And it just seems so weird, so excessive and crazy.
That's amazing.
That was the closest I ever got to Eminem. He was restocking his fridge for absorbent rates.
Well, I have to say that speaking of M&M and mini bars, I once was at the Standard. I mean, that would be really funny if this was at the same time. And a friend of mine is really great friends with someone who was working on his production team or something. And they're like, come on, let's go. There's a big thing at the Standard. And we definitely emptied out not at his room, but in our friend's room.
Oh, amazing.
And emptied out the mini bar.
Oh, it'd have to be, right? Yeah.
Easily.
We were on the top
floor
with
sitting on the
big foot.
But with the hands, like the hand,
the big
hand
foot.
chairs. The big foot.
Yeah, the big foam foot.
Yeah, yep. Right.
One time, one time somebody put one of those in the tub or in the shower, and it like weighed like 800 pounds after like soaked up all the water. They had to cut it into chunks to remove it
out?
To get it out. Yeah, because it was just a giant sponge foot, like the size of a person. Yeah, it couldn't be drained.
So yeah, that might have been at the same time. You might have taken inventory of all of the alcohol we drank out of one of their rooms.
That's amazing, right? Like it's so funny, like our worlds collide, just passing sliding doors. Like, oh yeah, you're the guy partying in the room, I'm the guy cleaning the room, or
oh my god,
doing the stock.
Oh, that is hilarious.
Oh my god. Okay, we should get back to John Herndon. Speaking of random celebrity jobs or jobs he almost had, I was shocked to hear that he had auditioned for the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
Do you remember that part of the interview?
Yeah. I was just kind of re-listening to it, and it was amazing. He has so many times in his life where it's like some little tiny random thing happens and it turns into a big thing. I know that was one of them. Like, what was the story again? His friend was.
So I had heard from John Steiner, the drummer in Helmet and what's the band now? Battles.
Yeah.
I was talking to John and he had told me, because I think we were just talking about drummers or different things, and he had said, he's like, oh yeah, Herndon, like auditioned for Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I'm like, what? That sounded insane. I just like just a world I could not imagine, how much cooler of a band they would be if Herndon was there. Just what a different band it would be.
Just such a different band.
Yeah. But so I think he knew a girl who knew them and was friends of theirs, and then she said she put him up for it. I think they were asking her like, oh, we need a new drummer, and so he came out to LA to audition. Right. And he said he was in the room when Chad Smith like had his audition, and you could just tell like the jockey, jovial kind of like, since they have the same sort of sense of humor, where I think John was a little more sensitive and a little bit more of a punk, and not as jockey as
right. Wasn't he sitting in the other room and he was like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna get this.
Yeah, I think you just hear him laughing, and the confidence, and the whole thing was, and this would have been pre whatever, pre Under the Bridge. This was like late 80s.
Like early 90s, late 80s,
probably late 80s. Yeah,
so crazy.
So 35 years later, the socks on their dicks and that era of Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, all the fun stuff.
But I just what a different world that would have been. Or just what I would now I want to hear like a Tortoise Red Hot Chili Peppers mashup.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh wait. Oh, I'm getting a call.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'll call them back.
Maybe it's Flea calling you to tell you.
Flea, hey, listen, man. We've had this discussion within the band many times, and we've still decided that Chad Smith is the correct drummer for Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yes. We really wanted Will Ferrell, but he wasn't eligible yet.
Oh my god. Yeah, his what was his other thing? Oh yeah, when he was John was saying he was just like skateboarding and he fell off his skateboard and his skateboard went down the hallway, and then some guy at the end of the hallway just jumped on his skateboard, rode back and was like, hey man, you want to go to the half pipe tomorrow? And then that ends up being one of the dudes in Tortoise now.
Oh yeah.
Like they started playing in a band together, and then that is now, he just randomly met him like riding down the hallway at college or something.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just the different doors that open. I also was tripped out by his relationship with Bob Moog and all the early like Moog synthesizers.
Oh, yeah. Just you mean the friend of the family, Bob Moog?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like his parents' friend.
Yeah.
I know. Well, that's what I was going to say too. It's like so much of it. It has to be so weird to grow up in a situation where the parents are all kind of creative people. Like, so he grew up on a commune for part of his life, and then him just talking about that of like the volleyball games and the potlucks, and that everybody kind of got together and did these jams, and then everyone was doing art, and the kids would just run around and be, and that has to imprint in your mind in a way to go, like, as long as it's in a all that stuff is kind of positive, and that it has to imprint on someone who's creative to go, oh yeah, there's all this stuff that's possible. I should try things, and I should, like, there's just like, it seems like that must be so different.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, it's literally like an alternative sort of lifestyle sort of thing, right? It's by design to be different. Yeah, it's crazy, but I guess the idea of just whatever happened, like there's all these cool creative parents around. I have a feeling there was probably darker sides too. You probably didn't get into. I'm sure these
I'm sure.
most communes the story
100%.
usually turns dark pretty quick.
Yeah. No, totally. So, but at least as this place where you're like, I'm going to do some weird thing, and then your parents go, that's so cool, you should go deeper. Make it weirder or whatever. Like, I think most people don't grow up that way, or if they do, they probably, it's kind of in the city, or your parents are already in like a creative field or something like that. But but I thought that was interesting when he was just like bringing up like, we do dances for our parents, and then we were playing music, and then my uncle got me I don't remember what it was, got him a drum, and then he was playing on this, and then there was a family band that was like, all the friends would get together and those guys would jam, and then everyone else would play volleyball. And like,
but he had like gigs as a teenager, like playing in this band with a band of adults.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
totally. I think it's interesting. I think like when I hear Questlove about his parents were in a band growing up, and then when he would just sit in sometimes when he was like, I don't know, like 12. And he's like, my dad's going to play at bars at night, and the drummer didn't show up, so he would sit in when he was like a 12-year-old. And that just has to like redo your mind a little bit of like, oh wait, I can hang with adults and I can be creative. Oh, okay. I'm gonna keep this somewhere in my brain that's never gonna leave. That I can just be this like weird creative human, and that there's people out there that will accept me even when I'm older, because I hang around with all these weirdos.
Or just seeing adults as people, maybe at that earliest of an age, you know what I mean, where it's not like stuffed shirt and ties, and they're all just figures of authority. But you could just be in a band with them. You could jam. You could see them have good nights, have bad nights. Right. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, my oldest Ryder, I put a bass in his hand just this weekend. We were just kind of jamming. I was like, "Here, try this," and he really took to it. It was really having fun. Like, he got like a little, like, not a cut, but like almost like a blister on his thumb from hitting. Like, I gave him a pick, but he wanted to use his fingers.
Oh, that's
I think
cool.
he was kind of just taking to it really quick. And he's been asked, he's like, I want to, like, when can I get back on the bass? And I was like, wait, what are you talking about? Like, oh, the guitar, the bass guitar? Oh yeah, okay, let's do it. Yeah.
Like, do you want to play it really loud?
Like,
come in this room.
Let's go.
Yeah.
It's but it's just so fun. We just put, it's like, I don't know which way I don't know where his life's gonna go.
Yeah.
He's been playing trombone and really digging that. But I was like,
that's awesome.
Try something like this. See what you think. But again, I could see a world where in the next, if he really likes it and he keeps playing it, like, let's go play shows. Let's go jam.
Totally. I mean, Lila just started picking up the guitar again like 6 months ago, but just because she's gotten really into music, and like, she's making playlists and does all this stuff, and she's getting really into like music and bands, and then she got like the guitar tuning app, and it actually has like chords on it, so you can just search bands on the app and it'll bring it up and it'll show you all the chords, and then you can play along with it, and it hears you playing, through the phone. And so it doesn't advance the song up until you hit all the chords. So it's like, if it's like C, E, it'll hear you playing it. And then once you get to the last line, it'll move up the phone for you. So you don't have to move up the phone up.
That's incredible.
And she was in there. I'm like, wait, what are you, is that a Radiohead song? She's like, yeah, I'm just learning some music. I'm like, well, how are you doing it? She's like, the app. Like I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you know how hard it used to be to try to figure a song out? You couldn't do it. You had to go buy like the sheet music or whatever.
Yeah, buy Guitar Player magazine and learn the whatever.
Oh yeah, the riffs and hit riffs or whatever.
Deep Purple songs in the back of it. You'd get 4 randomized songs. It'd be like Aerosmith, Eve 6, Deep Purple.
Yeah, all the hits.
Yeah. Oh my God, I still get those magazines. I'm still a subscriber.
Amazing.
It's so random.
Oh wait, congratulations on being on the top guitar list of Rolling Stone, by the way.
Can I tell you?
What number were you?
It was all fake.
Oh, okay.
I photoshopped that.
That's amazing. Because I was like,
oh.
It made sense to me though. I could see.
I put it down low at like 197 or something of like the top 200. I was like, yeah, I would definitely be at the end of the list. I was laughing at it and I was like, oh, I could just make one, and I put it up, but I didn't really set up the joke. And then I was like, oh, I just have to take this down. This is getting, because people were writing me like, congratulations, whoa, that's awesome. But it also felt like a kind of a thing of like, nobody's actually reading Rolling Stone or going to this website. Everyone's I just kept seeing people post pictures of either themselves or other people, like, well, look who's at number so and so, look who's at this number, look who's at that number. And part of me was like, I probably could just Photoshop this and put that up there, and it would just become fact, right? Yeah, like just pass it around.
I'll put it on your Wikipedia page.
Yeah. It felt like such a weird thing. It was so easily like you could just mock it up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
then it was just like,
I believed it, and
I took the bait.
I was like, he's that low? Come on, you got to put him up. He's got to be like 50 higher than that.
I almost got me to look at the real list to just see who was I stepping on. I don't know which person I was taking over their spot.
It's probably Wes Borland from.
Oh, he'd be way further up there. I mean, it's just any of those lists are always so arbitrary, and it's probably more to do with publicists and whatever else. Whose record companies buying.
Well, but that's what I was thinking. I was like, all you have to do is get like 3 or 4 people who are doing the list, and they're like, yeah, but what about those first 3 No Age records? And I'm like, oh yeah, wait, hold on, let's think about this. Yeah, he's up there.
You could put the power of positive thinking. You just put it out there. It's like,
100%.
Whatever point that becomes a consideration. I think it has so much more to do with just I don't know what those lists are so arbitrary, and that number is so huge. Or was like 250 guitar players.
Yeah.
Like that's an insane number
so high
to have any kind of relevance of anything. Like just pick, like you could just whatever the top 250 best selling bands, and just pull a guitar player from each one of those.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's not. It seemed like, but it's also like so random. Like, oh yeah, I'm number. But anything outside of the top 10 is sort of just like, okay, now you're really running out of things you're padding your paper with, or you're really padding this thing out with. And so it seems so arbitrary. So I was laughing at it, and I was like, oh, this is going to get weird. So
I think you should just agree with it every time someone's like, congratulations, like, thanks, man. Yeah.
Hey, it was a real honor.
I was super surprised, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. I actually do have to go. Sorry.
Oh, no. All good. Yeah. This is really fun. I appreciate it. Thanks for jumping on. John Herndon, that was awesome.
Such a good interview. I love it.
Yeah, that was really fun. Thanks. We got another good one coming up next week, and then we'll talk about that one the week after. Yeah. And we'll just keep doing this. Awesome, man.
It's been so fun.
Super cool. All right. Well, I hope you had a good Halloween. I hope everybody out there is getting ready for a happy Thanksgiving or whatever timely thing. Happy Arbor Day and Labor Day.
Yes. Happy Christmas. Merry New Year. All of that stuff.
We're almost there. Yeah. All right, man. I'll see you later.
All right. Thanks, Randy.
See you later.